Hello, my name is Jordan Victorian, a senior 21-year-old history major minoring in education from Southern University A&M College. And today I will be doing a short presentation on a historical analysis of charter schools in East Baton Rouge Parish. Exposing children to innovative educational practices and new systems of learning has attracted numerous African American parents in East Baton Rouge Parish to charter schools. These schools have been viewed as better alternatives for their children. Currently, there are over 20 charter schools operating in East Baton Rouge Parish. The goal of these schools is to provide better educational opportunities for the youth in EBR. There are various types of charters that are open up for various reasons. There's Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, Type 4, and Type 5 charters that are all open for various reasons. I will get more into why they're open and who authorizes them more as we get more in depth in the paper. Charter schools champion three major ideas embraced by parents and educators that are vital for their success and failure. The first deals with parents, and the second two deal with educators. The first idea is the idea of choice. For young Americans, parents had limited educational options for their children. The Brown versus Board of Education ruling in 1954 declared segregation unconstitutional and demanded that public schools be integrated. However, many white families had the opportunity to send their children to white private schools, while blacks, who were most of the time from the lower socioeconomic spectrum, didn't have the same opportunity to send their children to better schools. Therefore, the black schools still suffered as they did when the schools were integrated. In the 1990s, there began this trend of schools coming out that were, they were new, they were able to give students a better opportunity to learn. And this charter school legislation started getting passed for these schools to open, but they were held to different principles than the traditional public schools. They had different options about how they had to run their school. They still had to be accountable for standardized tests, for making sure that the students passed state assessments, but their approach to how they taught the schools was different. And they pushed this initiative, and many parents saw this as a better alternative for their children. And these schools were mainly set up in poor inner city communities that could serve minority students, which are most of the time black. And in some cases they're Latino, but if you look at the studies about the vast majority of black students that are in the charter school system, the vast majority of students that are in the charter school system are black, and that's especially true within Louisiana. One of the biggest charter school districts in the country actually is in Orleans Parish, which is around the New Orleans area, which obviously that makes it the biggest in the state as well. But the second biggest in the state is EBR, with over 20 charter schools. The second idea that charter schools embrace is autonomy. In these schools, teachers are free to develop their own curriculum and conduct the classrooms in ways that they see fit. This sense of freedom gives educators the opportunity to present information in new, innovative ways that could help the students learn. And they're allowed to do this as long as those academic standards remain to be maintained. In the event that that school begins to perform poorly, it could be shut down, or it could be the charter could be given to another organization. In that case, the school for the first 2 years will receive a grade of T, which is just a symbol for transition school. Is because when you're taking over a failing school, it could be difficult to get it turned around just like that. But so the grade letter of T for the first 2 years gives them 2 years to, get everything, implement their system, and try to change the culture before they're given a formal letter grade. The third idea is responsibility. Like I just said, while teachers have the responsibility, have the freedom to do whatever they want in the classroom, basically, as long as those standards are being met, the doors of the charter could be shut down if performance is low. A more in-depth of charter schools, as I mentioned earlier, there's type 1 through 5 charter schools. Type 1 in Louisiana, type 1 and type 3 charter schools are ran by local school boards. Type 2, type 4, and type 5 charter schools are ran by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, or BESE. Charter schools are ran most of the time by nonprofit organizations, and technically they are businesses, but by the way of but they're ran as nonprofits. However, sometimes business for-profit organizations come in to manage the day-to-day operations of these charter schools. The thing that distinguishes a Type 5 from the other four is that a Type 5 charter school is taken over by the recovery school district. This is a situation where the schools have been failing for a long time, and the recovery school district wants to implement a new system that could try to help the students to do better in school. Now, once that Type 5 charter does see significant improvement, it'll be changed to a Type 3B charter school. A little bit on the history of charter schools. Throughout the late 1980s, the idea of charter schools floated around the United States education system. In 1991, Minnesota became the first state to pass a law allowing the formation of charter schools. The following year, City Academy was created as the nation's first charter school. The school was opened by 3 St. Paul teachers, Milo Cutter, Baron Chapman, and Terry Crable. The school opened to serve impoverished children who experienced below average academic success. It was created with the intent of rescuing students who were going down the wrong path in life. Many of the school's initial students were homeless or came from households riddled by substance abuse. Now, more on the first charter school in Louisiana. The first charter school in Louisiana was conceived in 1995 as a pilot program to reinvigorate the educational system in Louisiana. Initially, 8 schools were allowed to participate, with the initial authorization coming from local school boards and the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. The state's first charter school was named Jefferson Community School in Shrewsbury, Louisiana. It was created for students that had been expelled from their previous schools for fighting or truancy, and offered juvenile delinquency programs, mentoring assistance, and academic assistance for all of the students. In 1997, East Baton Rouge Parish opened 3 charter schools that still operate today. With the vision of building leaders of tomorrow, J.K. Haynes was founded in Baton Rouge by educator, attorney, and businessman A. Maurice Haynes, and a group of educational supporters that supported him. Haynes was one of the pioneers of charter schools in Louisiana and named the school after his father. Meanwhile, Children's Charter School was an idea of a small group of parents and teachers and business representatives since 1992. In 1997, the vision became a reality when they opened the doors, serving 54 children from grades kindergarten to second, and expanded a a grade level each year. Arguably one of the most successful charter schools in East